So I've had my 3D printer for about 4 months now, and I absolutely love it. I am kicking myself for not getting this thing sooner. It has helped out a bunch already. The main reason why I got this is so that I could print shop accessories like jigs, tools, fixtures, things to just make the overall work experience easier, better, and then more enjoyable in the end. In addition to that, I wanted to be able to print things for friends and family, like gifts or jigs or things that I, might notice that they need or something that would be kind of cool for them to have. And then I also wanted to create some really cool stuff for myself. But because I'm extra, I didn't want to be stuck only being able to print files that other creators have made. And there are some amazing ones out there. And as you all know, there are hundreds of places you can go to get some of these files. Some are paid, some are free. But I wanted to be able to scratch my creative itch and get some of the ideas out here into the real world through the 3D printer. So through a bunch of research, I realized that Fusion 360 was going to be the program to learn. There are other ones out there, but it seemed like Fusion 360 could really do everything I wanted it to do and then some. Now, I don't think I will ever fully master it. There are some crazy things you can do, but I think I can get to a point where I can have a base understanding of the program and be able to do pretty much anything I would ever want to do when it comes to 3D printing. So I knew that I wanted to learn Fusion 360, and the only way to learn it, I don't know if you're anything like me, is to actually just jump right in and figure it out on the go. Make mistakes, fix them, make mistakes, fix them, and just move forward in general. But I needed something. I needed a project. I needed something that was going to get those creative juices flowing, something that I wanted to get out there, something that was bouncing around. And that, I decided, was a 3D printed marble machine. I figured this was going to be the perfect project to learn Fusion 360. I was going to have to create models and then build other models based on that previous model, maybe go back in, have to make tweaks and changes, add other things onto that, maybe scrap certain pieces, add other pieces. So I figured it was going to be a really good project to be able to kind of jump back and forth and be able to build this whole machine. That was the hard part. Now comes the fun part, the actual assembly of all of this right here. It is super easy and it goes really quick. We got to do two things though before we get started. Number one, we need to remove all of the support. I tried to think ahead while I was printing all these and designing all these to make sure that I could print everything flat and so that everything worked out well. So I was able to reduce all of these supports to an absolute bare minimum. But what I have left on the supports in the Studio Slicer is something that I just figured was kind of necessary, especially the way that I designed the parts. But it goes really quick. You just got like the bow ties here on the bases, and then you've got the peg registration points here on these pieces here. You just have the tree support on the spiral. You've got a support inside there on the slider there. And then just on the back of the pin board, there's a little one there. And that's really it. So we need to go through, just pop off the supports. Super easy. They should break away clean. And then the other thing is we need to get all of the electronics wired up. I know this looks like a jumbled mess, but it's not. I just added some longer wires just to make everything easy. I will set this down on the table and I will take a picture of this and you guys can pause it and just look at how I wired this. It is super easy, believe me. You just have two wires coming out of this potentiometer here that go right to the motor. I mean, that's as easy as it gets. And then just two wires here. They just get broken up with the switch in between the battery pack and the potentiometer here. Super easy, but like I said, I'll take a picture of this. You guys can just pause it, check that out. And then once you get this wired up and you are ready to go and you've got all your supports off, hit that play button and we will start assembling. As we get ready to assemble this marble machine, I have a little secret for you. I already have one of these fully assembled, and that was the one that I was putting together and fitting all the pieces together and doing all the tweaks and the modifications. And I finished the file, and that is what was printed here. This is the full file. And I just wanted to double check that everything fit together exactly how it should, so that anybody who decides to pick up this file will be able to replicate the exact same marble machine that I already have running myself. Usually it's back here on the desk, but I moved it out of the way as not to spoil this video. What I'm getting at is, once this machine is fully assembled, I'm going to give it away to one of you. I don't need two of them, and this is basically a test just to see if everything fits together just right. So if you want to be entered in the drawing to win this assembled marble machine, 3 criteria have to be met. 1, hit that thumbs up. 2, drop me a comment down below. And 3, live in the lower 48 of the United States of America, and I will ship this to you. So good luck. And if you wanted to just print one of these yourself, the file will be down below. And I'm going to experiment with selling a fully assembled and printed machine as well. So that'll be on my Etsy page. So without further ado, let's get to assembling this. Got your 2 base pieces right here, and then you have your bow ties. There are 2 different styles here. One says side, one says bottom. Pretty self-explanatory. Just get yourself a little bit of CA glue. I'll leave a link down in the description. You can enter my code. You can save 10% on that. You don't need a lot. Just put a dab onto each side, and then just slide these together and stick them in. They'll snap in there just like that. And now you've got your box assembled. So just do the 2 sides as well as the bottom, and we can move on to the next step. What I'll do is I'll usually tilt this up like this. I just find it a little bit easier, and then I'll put my dab of glue on either side there. And then I'll just slide that in. Just like that. Give that a couple seconds to dry, and then flip it over and do the other side. And there you go. You've got the base fully assembled. Bottom is assembled. Everything looks good here. It's actually quite sturdy. I was pretty happy with how those bow ties fit in there. And I was able to mess with and adjust the tolerances, get everything just right. So I was really happy how that looks. Then you're just going to take the right piece, which is this smaller piece here. It has the recesses there in the back for the potentiometer. I think that's how you say it. That's basically just a speed control. And then your rocker switch, your toggle switch there. So bring over your electronic setup here. You just set it right into the base. Take your right piece here, and then you will just set your switch and your potentiometer in there. There's only one way they can go. And then you'll have your bag here with your extra parts. You can shake that out onto the table. There's actually quite a few extra little washers or whatever in there that you don't need. But you take your little trim plate there, slide that on, and then just put a nut. You can thread that on there. You can get it as tight as you want eventually, or you can just kind of get it snugged up for now. So there's your switch, and then just take the only other thing left, which would be the actual knob here for the potentiometer. Slide that in there like that. And then you will take the hardware from that, which is basically just going to be this small nut. You'll thread that on there. And that's all there's to it. You got your switch and your speed control. So you can just take a couple extra seconds. You can get everything lined up and fit in there exactly how you want it. So then this will just rest here. You'll have all these registration points here, and they will just very easily snap right onto all of the registration points on your base. And there you go. There's your right side. Super easy. And now you have access to your battery pack. So you can just plug that right in. So if you guys do decide to print the version that takes the M12 battery, you will need to order this adapter here. The link is down in the description. Yours will look just like this, except it will be longer. And all you need to do is just cut it off. I cut mine off at 1.4 inches, somewhere in that range. And that is just so the clips right here that really lock this battery in then are no longer there. I didn't want to have to like really squeeze the battery to pull it out. So this way you can see it sits in there, it registers, everything's fine. And then the battery just comes out real easy. You don't have to fight with it or do anything like that. Depending on how your wires come out of the back of here, I just added a longer set here. I just soldered them on to the leads that already come out of this. And then I just used some hot glue down in this recess. There will be a little recess on both versions for this. I didn't feel the need to take it out for the AA version only, but I just put some hot glue down there. I mean, that's plenty solid. That's not going to go anywhere. That's going to hold it good. And then once you have this cut, now you just easily take your battery, slot it on, and then when you want to charge it or whatever, just pull it off just like that. That can just set in there, and then you take your left side. You'll have a hole at the top right there. You just feed your wire through there. Give yourself plenty of slack, and then make sure you push your wires out of the way. Lock this in there, and there you go. Here's your base. Here's your base supports. It's all in here, and that's the biggest step right there. Now you can just start putting in all of these pieces here. We're gonna go with the riser. That will just snap down in here. Now, if you are building this for yourself and it's gonna be at home, I would suggest putting some glue in some of these places, like on the bottom of this riser here. I made these pegs pretty tight, but I didn't make them crazy tight in case you did want to assemble this, pull it off or whatnot. So I'd put a little bit of glue in there and then maybe a little bit of glue there. And then that will just sit on there just like that. Take your wheel with your holes facing outward. That will go back here, and then you have a bolt. Your bolt will go through. So I am trying to do this backwards here so I can give you guys a good view on how to assemble this. So that'll just go on there like that, and then you just have a small nut. You want to snug it up. You don't want to go crazy and tighten the heck out of it, because it might cause this wheel to bind a little bit, but I've never had any real problems. You just run that on, and there you go. Now you've got the riser and you've got the wheel. Okay, next up, the way I kind of color coded these were all like the base pieces and slash like support pieces are going to be in black. These are going to be all the pieces you're going to want to put on first. Then next up, you have the return, you have the block and the actual return slide itself. This block here is taller in the back and shorter in the front. You will just snap that into there. I would put glue there just to hold this thing together, and then this will just sit right in here just like that. Again, with glue, that's going to sit on there a little bit better, and that's going to stay right there. And then you just have all your riser pieces. These will go in all of your holes that you can see here. Super easy, self-explanatory. They can only go in one hole. Slide this out of the way. Now we just need to work on the bowl and the actual 3-piece distributor. You will take your triangle piece. That will register right there in the middle. Push that in there. Okay, something like that. You'll hear a click in there. And then the bottom of your bowl, that has the same thing. You'll just line that up. There you go. You heard that click. And this thing's ready to go. The only place that this can go is on top of this little 3-sided support. Sometimes it's a little easier to pop that off. You can just hold this better. That'll slide in there like that. That'll slide in there like that. Then you can come back to this side, put your larger peg there. Okay, there you go. Now, onto the spiral. This round $half size piece on here, this is just to make printing easier. So you will actually just pop that off. Break that right off, and then that just slides into this one here. And then you can see everything there registers just how it should. Now we've got the zigzag piece here. That's going to take this odd looking shape right here. This one has a piece in there for the support. Just pop that out. That just comes right out, and now you're left with your hollow piece right there. And then the back of your zigzag, that has a hollow recess right there. Snap that in just like that, and then that one goes on this peg right here. And then I printed this little clip right here. This is really hard to see, but I just put that right there in the front. Again, I couldn't find a way to print that and get it to look good because it would just be a floating transition there. So now we're on to the pin portion. This one, you just have to be careful that as you're assembling, you don't knock off any of these pegs. This one will just take this block here. I've got another little piece of support in there that I didn't pop out. That'll come right out just like that, real nice and easy. So once you have that popped off, the shorter side here, you can see there's a taller side and a shorter side. That shorter slide will glue right into there just like that. So I'll just take some super glue. Make sure you clean off anything that's loose on here because this was printed with support. Put a couple dabs there and then slide that right there, and then just hold that just like that. Let that set up. Once you're satisfied with that connection there, glue this one on the same way. Get that to line up. Find a place to hold this between a couple of your pegs. Just hold that till it dries. Once you are satisfied with the pin feature being glued together and everything dry, and then you have your chute here that will attach to the back of that and shoot the marbles down into your slide. Just have to put it on the final remaining post there. I do find it easier to get this slide and get this bowl out of the way. It just makes it easier to snap on there, and then I usually pull that post off. And then just hold it there, slide your support into there, real easy like that. That will go in there. Put your distributor back on there. Just make sure you line everything up when you put everything back together like that. Put your slide back on there with your peg. Don't forget your peg. I would glue this slide and this marble bowl together just to help keep everything together. You can still pop this off when you want to. Got that pin on there. Now the final thing to put in is the little return slide here. Put a little glue on this face right here, this little flange. Put a little glue on there, and then you will just slide that into the pin feature and just hold it there until it dries. You could do that before you assemble it as well. There we go. We've got everything assembled. The only final thing to do now is put the motor on. So we'll spin this around. The motor's going to sit right there in that cradle. You'll have a smaller gear. Just push that gear onto the motor just like that. You will set your motor into this cradle. It'll sit right there. It'll register against your big wheel there. Got your clamp, which you will sit on top like that. And then you can use either screws or M4 bolts. I'm gonna actually go with the M4 bolts. So these bolts are M4 by, I think, 20. You could just use screws if you want. But you'll just tighten that down. Make sure you do the other side as well. And then just connect the red wire to the red terminal, and then the terminal that doesn't have anything will take the black wire. There we go, the fully assembled, ready to go marble machine. I'm gonna turn this on, I'm gonna turn it up. The reason why I have this on this base right here is because this work table that I have is not even close to level in this basement. These work much better on a level surface, so that's just why I have it on this board here. Turn it on, I'm gonna throw some marbles in here, show you what we got here. Now, there are two versions of this machine. There's this one here that uses the AA battery pack. And then there's this one here that uses this M12 battery. Both files will be available to print. You can just choose whichever one you want. But this one is the exact same. Battery goes and they will just run around. I like to call these the chaos marble machines because there is no path that is ever truly the same. You might get 5 in a row there. You might get 5 in a row on the zigzag, 5 in a row on the pin. There is just no telling what's gonna happen. But I love the sound and I love how these things can just run and run and run. If you're interested in picking up the file for these, I have the file below to my Etsy page to get the fully 3D printed files there. I will have the files available at Maker World, which is the Bamboo Studio all-in-one 3D printing community. So if you guys are interested in winning this one here, just hit that thumbs up, leave me a comment, and be in the lower 48 of the United States, and I will draw a comment at random, and I will ship this to you. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'm telling you, pick one of these up, print it out, make it, customize it. You will love it. I love the sound. I'm going to turn off this video and just watch both of these go. I've never had both of these running at the same time. Thanks for watching. Take it easy. Bye.